Hey guys, Chad here with Exodus Trail Cameras, and today we want to talk a little bit about setting up an Exodus render in an SP18, our external power source product, in a discreet manner. There's been a lot of buzz about the new cell cam, the render, and also about our SP18, the new external power source product, and using those two things together. When you're using a cell camera, the main priority and main reason that you're actually using that product is to not be intrusive, not being able to go into the woods, being able to receive that data remotely without really disturbing your hunting area and putting pressure on the whitetails that you want to chase come fall. So when you're using a cell camera, one of the disadvantages to a cell camera is the power consumption. Regardless of which product you choose, which product that you're running, they're all hard on battery. So it is our very strong recommendation, regardless of what cell camera you're buying or using, that you use some type of external power source to maximize the efficiency of the product and actually let the product do what it's designed to do. So here we have an example of an Exodus render powered by an SP18, and as you can see, it's neatly on the tree, but it's very noticeable. We've had several requests come in on our YouTube channel and via email and social about how to discreetly set up a cell cam and a panel to where it is not only not noticeable to the animals, the deer, bears, whatever that you're trying to collect data on, but also to people. There's a lot of money tied up here on a tree, and the last thing you want to do is draw attention and have these things walk away. So this is an example of a typical setup that you may see. Pretty efficient, pretty neat, nothing wrong with it in that manner, but it's very very noticeable. Camera height is 4.5, 5 feet, about chest high, and the panel is just below that, so it is on about the direct line of sight of a deer. So with you're within 50, 60, 70 feet of this, and the animals on a trail or food plot or whatever, there's no way that you're gonna be able to capture photos without that deer noticing this camera or noticing something is in his living room. So we're going to tear this down and show you how to do this a little more discreetly, where it's a lot less noticeable, but yet still efficient. So two of the top priorities when thinking about hanging any trail camera and solar panel discreetly on a tree so it's less noticeable is actually the height of the camera that you're placing it. On that earlier setup, we talked about having this camera 4.5, 5 feet off the ground, which is directly in the line of sight of an animal and people. So we like to hang these things about head height or maybe a little bit higher. So 6 foot at the minimum, somewhere between 6, 7 foot, just out of the line of sight of those animals, of the deer. I think that you'll find that less deer are looking at your cameras while they're getting their photo taken or while they're passing by. So that is one thing to consider. If you can get those cameras 6, 7 feet, that is definitely a plus. The other thing to think about is actually the tree that you're hanging the camera on. We are big fans of split trunk trees. This specific tree, shagbark hickory, is perfect. You have all this loosely hanging, protruding bark to help break up the silhouette of this camera. Anytime you can get these things tucked away in something like that, if you're using a third-party mount, that's an excellent option too. But here we're just using not a conventional method, but we're not using a mount. In place of the 2-inch straps that come with cameras, we're using paracord. It's just one less noticeable thing mounted to the tree. Now you have a cell camera and your solar panel or external power source in a tree. There's already two things there. Is the paracord going to make that big of a difference? I don't know, probably not, but it's something that we're pretty conscious of, and we think that it definitely helps. So this is what we're going to use in this demonstration, and we're going to get this camera hung up about head height, 6.5 feet, and then we'll get that solar panel set up. So we have a loop tied on one end, and we're just going to take the loose end and fish that through there. Some people may be worried about not being able to cinch these things down tight enough with paracord and being able to tie a knot. but using this loop and fishing the other end through, you're actually able to cinch it down pretty darn tight and get it pretty secured. So right there we have that camera about head height. It's about 6.5 feet, and we're gonna loop this through. I'm gonna cinch that down. Actually gonna get this up just a little bit higher. All right, so we have that camera about 6 foot off the ground, aiming in the same spot, monitoring the same spot that it was 4.5 feet off the ground on that maple tree. We're just gonna move this over a little bit, and then we're actually gonna steal some of this bark and place it down in here, just to help break this up a little bit. So, camera's mounted. Next, we're going to move to our solar panel. So we have our render mounted to a tree, mounted to our split trunk tree, about 6 feet off the ground. Disguised the best that we could. Next, we're going to go ahead and throw up our SP18. If at all possible, you're going to want to have this on a different face of the trunk, or if it's a split trunk as this is, actually you could put it on the other trunk. This camera right now is facing north, so we're actually going to put this panel on the back side of this tree so it's facing south, just so there's it receives a little more sunlight. But again, we're going to get this thing on a different height than the camera's on, so there's not two objects on the same visible plane. We're actually going to probably get it up as high as I could reach, 6, 7, 8 feet, 7 or 8 feet, and make sure that's out of line of sight of deer and people. So I'm going to go on the back side of this tree, go ahead and get this thing mounted, and then go ahead and get it connected, and we'll show you the finished product. So we have that mounted, facing south, pointed up, and the last thing we need to do is just simply connect the solar panel to our camera. And take the larger diameter pin and connect into our camera like so, and then take the smaller diameter pin and plug into our panel. Now, the one thing you're going to want to make sure you do is to keep this cable nice and neat. The slack wrapped around the tree or the mount or the camera, just do something to make it tidy it up so there's not anything blowing or swaying, and it also will help keep squirrels and mice, raccoons, and different curious creatures from playing with this. So we're just going to wrap it around the tree once, and then come back to our mount and make a couple wraps there and get plugged into our DC out port. So that's a complete setup. As you can kind of see this, there's probably a little bit too much stress on this pin. That cable's a little bit too tight, so we're going to adjust that a little bit and make sure that there's just enough slack on there that it's not too much stress. So that's about the way you want it to look, and that is a total setup Exodus render SP18 in a very discreet manner. You have excellent side cover from the split trunk tree facing this way, facing directly on the camera. You have all the shag bark coming off this hickory, help breaking that silhouette up, and then the panel actually on the opposite face of the tree facing south. So this is a great ideal setup. If you can utilize a split trunk tree in this manner, it's a great way to do it. So hope you guys like the video. Leave your comments and smash that subscribe button for us.